Hi there, this is Mr. Jacob Nash, and we're going to be looking at Module 4 for AP Psychology. I call this Dumb Things versus Not Dumb Things. So what does this mean? Well, I'm talking about the different ways that people research sometimes, and there are common mistakes that people make. So let's see. Well, the first thing is hindsight bias. This is called the I knew it all along bias sometimes too, because it's like after you figure out something, you claim that you knew it all along or could have. So today I don't have to give credit to the pictures because I took them 2 days ago. I went to a Red Hot Chili Peppers concert, so I just saw them and I realized that I could use them because they happen to look like that. But anyways, so let's say John Frusciante plays a crazy solo on the guitar, then Anthony could say, I knew he was going to play that. He says, like, I knew it. Or he might say, well, I could have known there was a way for me to figure that out. But then he's like, dummy, because that's not true. There was no way that you could have known before that he was going to do that. So that's a common thing people do. So apply that to psychology. Someone could, when they discover something, they could say, well, I knew that, or there was they seem to think there's some way they could have known it, but that's not the case sometimes. So, and when it's not the case, that's the hindsight bias. Another thing is overconfidence. This one is basically just when you're more confident than correct. So how is it different? Well, it's kind of just like someone's making a claim before something happens, and then they figure out the result and it's not true. So he says, I know he's not going to play a solo. And then he's like, oh, okay. And then he plays solo anyways. And then he dramatically denies the truth because that was just him doing a weird dance move, because if you know what he's like, he does dance moves. But anyways, when you just are convinced that you're correct, and you've maybe even convinced yourself that you're correct, but are you really? Or is it just that you're confident that you are? So that's overconfidence. That's another thing. Another thing is perceiving order in random events. Sometimes we see random events and we think that shows a pattern or a meaning, but it doesn't actually. So let's say he plays a solo on August 4th, 2006, and he plays another one that's similar on July 28th, 2022. Well, maybe Anthony Kiedis notices, oh, well, there's an 8 in both of those dates, even though one of them is the month and one of them is the last digit of the day. And then he could just make the claim, okay, well, then I guess he always plays solos on dates with the 8. Therefore, he could think, let's say they had a concert coming up on, I don't know, August 1st, 2022, then he would be surprised when he doesn't play that solo, because sometimes it's not actually a pattern. So these are some of the 3 dumb things that we can do. So we got to make sure to not do this. So what can we do instead? Well, there's other things we can do that help increase our chances of accuracy. We can do the empirical approach. This means just let the facts speak, not theories or unprovable beliefs. You might think something, but how do you know that it's true? You need to make sure that you can prove it. So, for example, if you're convinced that someone has a certain disorder or something, well, you can't just base it off of that you just randomly think that. You have to have something that can prove it, that comes from already existing knowledge that has been proved. That's the empirical approach. And then humility, that's accepting your mistakes, checking your work, and being open to other perspectives. So don't just immediately I mean, I know you're taking this class, so it's not like you're going to do some specific research, but let's say you're doing research. You don't want to just right away just release your research. There could be some errors in that. So you maybe want some other people with differing perspectives to check it and to make sure that it's more accurate. That's just humility. And then critical thinking, that's just carefully assessing the information. That's basically just like thoroughly looking at what you've researched. Instead of just, oh, I found something. What do you know? I'm just right away going to use that, and I'm not going to think. I'm not going to look back. So there you go. That's a pretty short module. So that's all I have for you today.